Hello, everybody out there in YouTube. We are the Middle-Aged Guys, and we're going to continue our reviews of the episodes of Young Justice. In this particular video, we're going to cover Season 1, Episode 12, which is entitled Homefront. Let me get all the introductions out of the way. I'm the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
Young Justice Season 1, Episode 12, Homefront, first aired out on September 30th, 2011. Again, these episodes are 6 years old. No spoiler warnings here, but we're going to cover the usual short synopsis and then 3 talking points, what we liked, what we didn't like, and the type of things that we noticed watching this particular episode that we see serves as a setup or a hint for future episodes or storyline arcs going forward. All right. Let me just get the synopsis out of the way. This particular episode right here, while previous episodes had shown Miss Martian and Superboy starting their first day of school or their first day of the new school year, this particular one shows their other teammates who happen to live in Gotham, namely Artemis and Robin, starting their first day at school. During the time after school, the other teammates are gathered at Mount Justice. Artemis and Robin go ahead and they arrive there at the cave, and they find out that the cave is in shambles. The team has been attacked by forces that they don't know is there, and they soon discover that, Red Tornado has family. They are being hunted inside the cave by Red Torpedo and Red Inferno, and during the whole time, they pretty much spend the majority of the episode running from place to place, crawling through air ducts and between walls and in ceilings and jumping into water and everything, kind of like rats in a cage, trying to go ahead and figure out how to not only save everybody else, but to save themselves from Red Inferno and Red Torpedo. Turns out that with the help of Wally West, they cook up an EMP emitter. And after a lot of trial and error, of which ends up with just Artemis by herself, wondering whether or not she's actually going to be able to survive the next 5 minutes of her life, they are actually able to go ahead and take down the 2 robots with the EMP emitter. After they go ahead and they disable the robots, Red Tornado reappears, arrives back at the cave, and upon examining the 2 other robots, something happens to get activated within his programming. He disables the team, and all of them disappear. And that's pretty much where the episode ends up at. So let's go ahead and let's start with our first talking point. What in this particular episode, guys, did you notice that you liked? That's the first thing. Floor is open.
Damn. This episode was fucked up. I mean... Damn, I don't even know where to begin as far as how it was being fucked up by just Artemis and Robin getting transported to the cave, and then everything immediately starts. They're just getting fired at. They're just being pursued, and it's just like, damn, what? Okay, what is shit? As of right now, I'm kind of frozen because of how fucked up that was. I mean, yeah, just as the Reverend said, they were basically solid snaking all through this episode. Trying to figure out a way to survive and so on. Grey Mouse, what about you, man? I mean, I guess I'll do certain talking points later.
What I liked about this episode was pretty much Robin, calm, cool, and collective as always. And a lot of his training showed, especially when Artemis was starting to get a little disturbed. So, it's like she asked, how can he be so calm? And it's like, I've been doing this since I was 8 or 6 or whatever it was, which goes back again to him being underneath Batman for so long. It really shows. And that's what I like. How
that sounded really dirty. Just saying. Go ahead, Grey Mouse, finish up.
That's it.
All right. Yeah, sorry for interrupting with that. That sounded really dirty, a lot dirtier than you intended it to sound. Okay. With this particular episode, this is one of those episodes that I gotta say is kind of there were a lot of undertones and things that were kind of set up. This is a real big setup episode, okay? But it's hidden by the fact that pretty much you have Robin and Artemis running around with, basically playing what is it?
Cat and mouse?
No, not cat and mouse. It was basically Reese and Sarah Connor from the Terminator. All right. And this whole episode really has a Terminator vibe, where literally you have these two robots just coming after them. They keep on throwing shit at them and throwing shit at them and throwing shit at them, and they just do not stop. Okay,
robots with powers.
Yeah, robots with powers. Okay, not only that, but obviously, as they were so succinct to put it, Red Tornado is one of the powerhouses of the Justice League. How do they, as not only two of the youngest, but also the non-powered members of the team, stand a chance against this? And it was really one of those things where it went out of its way, and it really illustrated, okay, push comes to shove, not only is Robin able to sit there and be able to try to control the situation the best he can, due to the amount of time that he spent with Batman under his wing, and also that, Artemis, again, another person who's come out through the crucible of pressure and stuff like that, is able to go ahead and produce results at the end because she needs to, all right, especially when pushed to that particular point. Mm-hmm. But that's not to say that, this episode didn't have things that didn't stick out or things that we didn't like, unless there was something else that anybody else wanted to go ahead and throw in on the first part.
No.
Not this time.
I want to make something clear. I said this episode was fucked up, but that doesn't mean I didn't like it. Okay? I mean, look, it was fucked up because due to the situation that Robin and Artemis was put under, but that does not mean that I didn't like the episode, that I didn't like the tone of the episode, that I didn't like what was happening. That's what I meant. I was just like, damn, when I first watched it, I was like, damn, this is fucked up. But it was still enjoyable to watch.
The other thing I wanted to say, too, was it kind of gave Artemis's backstory a little bit as well, or what happened between her and her sister.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
It kind of flashed back a little bit, and, it kind of forced Artemis out of her shell and to think on her feet, towards the end when everybody got captured except her, So I really like that.
Yeah, I think that actually kind of really a bit more also ties into the third portion that we usually talk about. So I think we're going to touch on that again, Grey Mouse. But let's go ahead and continue on the second part that we usually do. What did you see in this particular episode that you might not have liked, or if you had a choice, what you would have changed? Floor is open, guys.
I wish they kind of would have shown how the others got captured or whatever during the duration, because all of this was Robin and Artemis. That's the only thing I would change if there was anything.
What about you, Grey Mouse? What would you change, or what didn't you like?
I didn't like the fact that Superboy and Miss Marcia was like French kissing, the first scene that you see with them. It kind of was like, that was completely out of place. It was just like, we know that it built up to their relationship, but I was like, that was dead in your face, slap to the face. Like, look, they're in a relationship now. I mean, from the previous episode, they, how do you say it? Consummated?
No, they didn't consummate their relationship, but they made it obvious. Okay, they actually went ahead and jumped in for
whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, and to have that thrown back in your face and again on the very next episode, it's like I felt like it took away from the episode. If I were to do anything different, I would have definitely opened it up a little bit different than that. Other than that, I kind of agree with what the theme said. With kind of would like to know how Miss Marcia and Aqualad got caught along with Superboy and Kid Flash. They got put in that, whatever that was, the stone, I guess they melted the wall around them, I'm assuming. Yeah. But it would have been nice to actually see that battle.
Yeah, yeah. I disagree with Miss Martian Superboy thing, because there's a certain thing that a lot of people there's a phrase that I use when a lot of people will sit there and say, how the heck can XYZ people go ahead and get caught in this position where, I don't know, they were fucking out on the balcony and people were taking pictures of them or something like that, all right? And then I sit there and I always explain it as because they were going at it like high school kids. How do high school kids treat their relationships that they actually get, physical in? Every fucking moment that they have, and you have two teenagers who live together under the same fucking house. And it's obvious Red Tornado doesn't sit there and chaperone them like watchful mom and dad does. He just lets them do whatever the fuck they do. So, I mean, the only thing, I really wouldn't have expected anything less. I know to a large extent I was like that with a lot of my girlfriends.
All right, so what did you like?
Just saying. All right.
What did
just saying. Yeah. All right. What I didn't like about the episode is that there's a few things that are going on. Okay, the whole thing with the EMP emitter. Okay, it makes sense as far as being able to stop them. All right, but there was an issue with when they went ahead and they built the EMP emitter. It was that they create the emitter tube and the vacuum tube and everything else, and they set it up inside of the main power supply, right? But Robin puts it in place and he says the circuit is incomplete. And the power connections are on the bottom. And it's like, wait a minute, if you just put it in there and you set it and let gravity do its thing, it would have sat on the fucking thing. All right? That was one thing. All right? And I know it's really kind of a nitpicky thing. But here's the other thing about it. So Robin is like literally, okay, he's trying to be as silent as he can. He's trying to do this as ninja as fucking possible, okay? All right, so he's doing this quietly, and he's only saying circuit is incomplete to sit there and pretty much keep the audience in queue with understanding what's going on, right? But he gets taken out, like, right after that, okay? And Artemis is hiding in this fucking tunnel, looking through a crack, all right, inside of this metal fucking tube. How the hell did she know what was going on with that fucking thing and why it wasn't working? How did she hear that?
Aren't they connected by what do you call it?
Well, the mind link wasn't working. So
I'm not talking about the mind link. I'm talking about the intercoms.
Not everybody was connected by the intercoms, and the thing is that they had lost a lot of their equipment during the flood.
I'm talking about those two.
It's just one of those things. It's just like it really kind of stood out as something that was kind of nitpicky, especially for the fact that. Again, even then, the circuit is incomplete. Even if she heard it through the intercom, how is she going to know that she's going to have to sit there and shoot the arrow sideways to go ahead and get lodged into the bottom? Because it could have been on top, or it could have been in the middle on the side someplace making a connection. So it's just I don't know.
Robin,
it was just. It was just one of those technical things that just stood out to me like a sore thumb. You know what I'm saying?
Robin didn't say specific on which side it was not affected.
Exactly, and she's out someplace, like I said, in this fucking tunnel, looking through a crack in the wall, noticing that he's doing the ninja thing over there, getting caught, pretty much being drowned until he's unconscious, all right? And then she's hoping to go ahead and figure out what to do next, all right?
Can it be Hollywood magic to round out the episode? I mean, how else would...
Yes, very much so, all right? I'm just saying... I think if there was a way that was a little bit more visually apparent that would have explained that she knew how it worked also, then I would have accepted that fully. Okay, but the thing about it was that when it came down to it, the person who helped Robin go ahead and build it was Wally West, Kid Flash, when he was communicating through the intercom from the batarang that he threw. So it was just one of those things.
To land right there by his face.
Yeah,
And then how the heck does Wally West know about EMPs? Did he sound like he knew what the hell he was talking about?
Well, the thing is that Wally West was smart enough to go ahead and recreate the experiment that created the Flash.
I was just about to say, he is connected with science a lot.
Yeah, you know, that's his thing. All right, so he would have known. All right,
Oh, he's an idiot. He just trips and falls a lot.
Yeah,
well, he didn't do it this time. He didn't have a chance to.
That's what I'm saying. Wait, if they probably would have did the flashback on how these motherfuckers got caught, he probably would have tripped and fell and got caught in that moment and shit. And it would have pissed everybody off. That's probably what would have happened. So maybe they skipped it for that purpose. They were like, no, he tripped and fell 90% of these episodes so far. So we don't want to flashback it. So no, fuck that.
Okay,
give it a theory.
And I think the funny thing is that although I'm laughing my ass off, I think both Grey Mouse and I think that theory is rather plausible. So. But that's not to say, you know, that the episode didn't serve a purpose much past the fact that it was very Terminator-esque, even down to the fucking soundtrack. Sounded like something that sounded like something out of the Terminator. You know, there was a lot of things that were kind of set up in this particular episode. What were the sort of things that you guys noticed in this particular episode after, you know, I know we've seen this multiple times, that came to the forefront now that, you know, acts as a hint or setup for a future episode?
Huh. Oh, okay. I'm going to go very, very subtle here. We'll laugh about this someday. When Robin, in school, when he ran up to Artemis, he knew who she was and took a picture with it. And it's like, who's he? Oh, it's just some freshman. And Barbara Gordon was there. So that was really subtle, but it was kind of cool to actually have that. I mean, even though Artemis didn't know who the fuck he was and what was going on, but it was just hilarious the way Dick Grayson just went up there and just did that.
She did say Dick. Why'd you do that?
Yeah. Barbara asked him. Yeah.
Yeah, but Artemis had no idea what the hell happened at the time. That's what he's saying, you know. So what about? Go ahead,
Grey Mouse. Yeah, because that's one thing that I liked and that I wanted to see, that I wanted to point out, and that's gonna take place in, like, that sets things up in the future. But Grey Mouse, what about you? What did you notice?
Artemis, basically, she's starting to get more grounded within the team, especially after she pretty much saves all their asses towards the end of this episode. So her character's Artemis herself is character strengthening and becoming, she is still considered, I guess, an outsider per se because she wasn't with the original team. But she kind of, made her place in this episode, and which, of course, further episodes as we go into the future, she's going to become a cornerstone of the team. And there's some, so yeah, I really liked her development in this one, that she didn't have much confidence in herself. And then throughout the towards the middle and then towards the end of the episode, she had full confidence in herself, I felt. And that sets up, like I said, it sets up for the future. And then, of course, the machines. I mean, the Terminators, like you so nicely put it. That's definitely, they disappeared at the end of the episode. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think, everything that was pretty much set up is that we've got those particular points. The whole photobomb with Artemis and Robin, it stands out as something that is really kind of off right now, but especially when we get, it really comes back even deep into the second season. Okay. It comes back. All right. Of course, like Grey Mouse mentioned just now, and also, previously, there's, the flashbacks between Artemis and Cheshire. So again, that particular connection between those characters, if it's not obvious, if people haven't figured it out by now, it's pretty much been spelt out for everybody. Artemis and Cheshire, they're sisters. Okay, they're connected that way, and that also, of course, makes the whole point that they're probably also connected to Sportsmaster in some way. All right, and then of course the Reds. the Reds the Artemis goes ahead and she refers to them, which is awesome. Yeah, the whole thing with Red Tornado having siblings and other family members and stuff like that, again, hints that he's going to be tied into really, really huge, important things that happen further along into the season. And also it brings back, okay, well, we have not just Professor Ivo, but, Dr. Kiyomaro. He's also obviously, just like what happened all the way back in, what was it? I think episode number 3, which was Welcome to Happy Harbor with, Mr. Twister going after him, then, Dr. Kiyomaro, Professor Kiyomaro saying that he was behind that and he was helping out with all of that. This really sets up that, this whole thing with the Red Tornado, the Reds, Professor Kiyomaro, and all of that, it's definitely not something that's just going to be left alone, especially with the way that they went ahead and they left the ending of the particular episode saying, this is Justice League, top priority, trying to find Red Tornado, trying to find what happened, why this all came about. And, of course, knowing the team as they are, they're not going to leave it alone either,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, come on. It's enough to take it personal because these motherfuckers were attacked in their home.
Yeah.
So hell yeah, they're going to take that shit personal.
Yep. All right. The last thing that we always do at the end of all of these particular ones, on a scale of yay, nay, or meh, what do you guys rate this particular episode? Theme, you go first.
I would give it a yay. And the reason being is because, okay, and one of the things I really liked about this series is that every episode is not coordinated around a freaking happy ending. It's always some type of to be continued or something remains to be seen. Something always happens. It's just, or there are cliffhangers. I like that about all these episodes. This exploited the weaknesses of each and every team member that had powers. Once again, you had, Miss Martian and freaking Aqualad basically in a cage of fire because that's their freaking weakness. You had Kid Flash and Superboy, basically they can't even move, so speed and power had no use to those motherfuckers. So I like the way, I just want to know how they got there. But again, I give this a yay because of the character development, as Grey Mouse said, with Artemis. You start to know a lot more about her. And then there's the Robin situation. Yeah, I give this episode a yay. Grey Mouse, what about you?
I give it a yay.
You want to expand on that?
Don't need to. Theme did it for me.
Well, all the talking points, that's what basically all the talking points were that was already discussed.
Yep. Well, okay, if you don't want to go ahead and contribute past that, and I understand that. With this particular one, yes, I'm going to give it a yay. No surprise, he is all around. Like I said, the wonderful thing that this particular episode does is that it could have been just an exposition episode. A lot of people sitting down, talking about things, saying inane shit and just illustrating stuff out. Or, to help set up like future storylines, but they hid all of that with this literally action scenes from the Terminator. All right. They hid all of the setup in this whole fucked up action sequence. Okay. Where you have, Artemis and Robin, like I said, the two non-powered members of the team, facing off basically two of, the equivalent of two of the major powerhouses of the Justice League. All right. And, because of that, it's not quite a particular situation where it's like one that they have to win. No, it's one that they just have to survive.
Right.
And hopefully at the end of everything, save everybody in the process. Okay. And that's kind of what makes this particular episode great. All right. But what we really want to know, okay, what we really want to know, folks, is what did you think of the episode? If you've seen Young Justice Season 1, Episode 12, Homefront, and you've watched through this particular review, what do you think about it? What do you think about our review? Are we off base? Was there something that we missed, possibly? You can let us know by leaving a comment below. While you're at it, if you really like what we've done here, go ahead and mash on that like button. We'd appreciate it. And if you really like what we're doing here, especially our conversations about Young Justice, other animated projects, or even the stuff that we do with video games, or the off-random conversation, because we tend to jump into that sort of thing. And if you really want to stick around and see what else we want to put out, I do suggest you subscribe, hit that bell to go ahead and get notifications too. With that, all of our thoughts and our review for Young Justice Season 1, Episode 12, Homefront, ends right here. I'm the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
All forms of entertainment has the right to exist, even if you don't like it. Get trot or get dead. That line stuck with me when Robin said that. Credits.